All right, so I have a trip coming up this weekend. This is the first time I'll be taking this boat out on a multi-night trip. So I figured I would take some time to kind of talk about how I do my boat prep, because this is a new boat. Bought this after my Swanee trip. All right, there's the one that did the Swanee with me. All right, but I've got things dialed in as to kind of where everything goes in between the two hatches, and I have a deck bag that goes on there. And this one between the day hatch and the pod up front doesn't require a deck bag. I shouldn't need one, but I want to kind of go through everything and get everything in so that I have a basic idea of where I want everything to go. And I've got a paddle scheduled for tomorrow, in which I'll make sure I have everything else that I'm going to bring with me. Today isn't so much worried. I'm not worried so much today about weight as I am about bulk and size. So I just want to make sure everything fits. So I've got everything here. All right, this is all of the bags and boxes. All right, this is my food bag. This isn't all of the food I'm taking with me, but I wanted to close it up to get like air in it so that I have the size, basic size. I don't expect it to be this big. It's just going to be like a 3-day, 2-night trip today or this weekend. So it's not going to be that big when I actually pack it up to go. But if this fits, then I don't have to worry about it not fitting later. All right, so I'm going to set this down, record a little bit, me kind of putting everything in, and then go over everything again when I'm done. So this is why you do this before you get out. The 20-liter bag doesn't fit. All right, not with everything else. The physical space in the hatches, while it's more volume overall, isn't up as high. So getting that in doesn't fit so well. So I've got two 10-liter bags that I replaced it with, and that gets everything in there. And then when you're packing it up, you really kind of have to think about what you want access to first. So up here, we've got, back in here, there is my 2 bags with my hammock and my tarp. And those I can get to easily just by pulling out these things. This is my top quilt, extra tarp, one of my IKEA bags. And then down here, I've got, right here would be my underquilt. And then stuffed up in the nose is my my clothes bag. In here is some snacks, and there'll be like little things, little extra towel, chapstick, and then I've got my headlamp shoved in here in case I need it. And then there's plenty of room in here to put some other snacks. I've got some beef jerky that I've already made, and I'm going to be making some Hudson Bay bread to go in here for things to munch on and for lunch. And then here we've got water, my folding saw in case I need it, and this I can reach around sitting in the cockpit and get into. Come around this way. My paddle jacket is in here as well, my filter, and I think that's it. In the cockpit itself, I'm going to be wearing this because I'm going with a small group. This is a tow rope, just in case. I don't expect I'm going to need it, but I'm going to be wearing that. I'm going to be wearing these. My extra shoes are down in the cockpit. It's a little dark in here. It's a little dark outside. I had to shift some stuff around in different bags, and I'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, so you can't see down in there, but they're there. This is my extra GoPro batteries, sponge on top of the deck up here. Obviously, extra paddle, bilge pump. The Aquabound carbon are going to be what I actually use. And then back here, I've got shoved all the way back here. There's a skeg box. So it comes like kind of right through here and really makes it difficult to use the area back here. So I've got my hatchet, my tarp poles, and then the other IKEA bag is just shoved back in here. The two food bags, my chair. This is my cockpit cover for nighttime. This is a battery box that charges off of the solar panel here. This is a Voltaic brand solar panel with my first aid kit and all of this in here. But on my other one, I wouldn't be putting my first aid kit here because, again, you need to think about what you want to be able to have access to the quickest. And with nothing being over the back hatch, like look, when I pull this up and put this over here, right? Here, let me set you down real quick. Okay, so hatch is closed up, right? This is it. The back half is done, right? Close this up. I've got my solar powered Lucy light there. That's just clipped onto the bungee so that it can charge. But that's it. There's nothing else going on the back, right? So if I have an emergency and I need to be able to get it to the big first aid kit, I've got it. I've got a small one in my PFD that'll be there with me. So yeah, when I get this closed up, in order to get into the front hatch, I would have to move the paddle out of the way so it's not as quick and easy access. Anything that I need to get out of here can wait until I get to camp. It's my maps, the same maps that I had for my 10-day trip. I just pulled out the ones that I needed marked on here. You can see the people that I'm going with have named it the Boycott Black Friday kayak camping trip, and we'll be starting at White Springs and ending at Swanee River State Park. And then I have the appropriate maps in there and can change them as needed. My little carabiners I'll have clipped up to here. I'll close this up and then you can see. And then this will be clipped up here, like so. And then I can just slide this out of the way or whatever to get into here, and then pull it back as I need it. This is the new GoPro mount. This is the new GoPro mount. The angle is like so, and then up a little bit like that. I'm not sure how I feel about it. There's not really a whole lot of places on here to mount one. I don't want to drill into the boat. I drilled into the other one, and there's a spot right in front of the cockpit that allows me to shoot forward. And there's some holes here for a sail. And they make a mount. There's a mount that's like for a motorcycle that can screw in there, but I want to keep that open for when I actually have a sail. Don't know when that'll happen, but it will eventually happen. And up here is only voice control. I can't turn around. I can't talk back at the camera. At least here, if I lean forward enough, I can unscrew this and flip it around. It's not as simple as the other setup, but I'll get the job done. So all that's left for me to do tonight is unpack everything. I've got my PFD and my spray skirt over there, which I will be wearing. Yeah, all that's left to do tonight, pull everything out, break everything down. Other lessons. I have a camping blanket that goes into the underquilt. It's not going to be cold enough to need it, but I wanted to kind of take it with me just in case. That's not gonna fit. It's too bulky. So I have a compression dry sack that's, I don't know if you can see it, but that's in there. That has my underquilt in it now because I had my top quilt in it. And the underquilt and the blanket were just too bulky to fit everything else in. So what I need to do is buy 1 or 2 more of those compression bags. Probably just buy 2 more, one for the top quilt and one for the blanket, so that I can compress them down because they're pretty fluffy, and then get them all in. I'm really curious to see how the food bag works. I think for this trip I won't need anything more than a 10-liter bag. But then when I did my 10-day trip, I had a 20-liter bag, 2 20-liter bags, and one 20-liter was full, the other one was like half full. And if I need to do another 10-liter, like that can always go in the cockpit. Like if I need to do three 10 liters. So, yeah. Now tomorrow we'll be taking all this with me for a day trip on the Hillsborough River with a friend, and then see how this thing paddles loaded. But just in case you're wondering, this is a P&H Scorpio. My other boat is a Aventura, Feel Free Aventura 140. Don't mind the little bit of a mess that I have in my garage. The Gemini's mine on the bottom. The Seastream backwater on the top is my brother's that I'm housing for him in the meantime. But yeah. So I think that about does it. I'm gonna turn this off and get everything taken out. And taking out's the easy part. Getting everything situated, especially the first time, can take a little bit, and you absolutely should not do it when you get on the river, or when you get out wherever you're going. You should definitely do this part before going out, so that if you learn stuff like I did, and how you need to rearrange stuff, or maybe you don't have enough space to bring stuff, you know that before you get out there and you're getting ready to load everything up and launch, and you got to figure out where to put shit, because it's not going to fit in your boat. So yeah, hope you found this helpful. I will try and do some recording tomorrow when I get everything loaded up and launched and paddle, and if I do, I will add it to the video after this, and if I don't, this is the end of it. I just remembered I have a bunch of camping shit in my boat. I'd forgotten.
That's good.
No, you don't. Ugh. Test done. I love this boat. There's just a single dry bag for the food because that's all I need for the weekend. But adding some more back there isn't going to be a problem. I know it'll fit. But the trim is good. Trim is good. Can't even tell that there's anything in it when you're paddling. So yeah, that's why it's important. Because if I came out and I didn't like the way that it paddled, I could move stuff around front and back, kind of redistribute the weight, but you want to make sure that the heavier stuff is closer in towards you in the cockpit, and the lighter stuff is spread out to the ends. That's why in the front end is my clothes bag shoved up as far as it'll go, and in the back it's just a hatchet. I put my Crocs back there, and my tarp poles. But yeah, before your first trip, practice loading it up at home, and then before you go out on your trip, put everything in and actually get it out on the water so you know how it feels, and that way you're not trying to figure shit out after launching on your first time.